And then we had to like immediately like pop, right? And the faster you can do it, the totality of your damage will just be greater. Welcome to VOD Reviews, everybody. This is a new segment for subscribers where you guys will be able to submit your ZZZ runs for Twitch subscribers. So if you guys, again, are subscribed on Twitch and would like to participate, just link your Twitch and your Discord. A couple of runs done so far. Look at all these runs. So far, it was just released pretty much yesterday. So all these recordings are pretty fresh, piping hot and fresh. So we'll be able to get to them as we kind of go down the road. But let's take a look. Firstly, at this 65k kill with Lucia, Yishen, and Fufu, all of them at least M1 with W1, and Lucia, funny enough, is at M or W2 because they got a double in a single temple. All right, let's take a look. So already here, before we even started the battle, I would have popped a single instance of Yishen EX. And of course, you would assume that's exactly for the Yunkoi tails, because the faster we can get into the Yunkoi tails, the faster we can ramp up our damage even during the off stun rotations. So we can pop an EX special right as the boss shows up and then flow into that M2 ult, right? Again, not a lot of people consider the off stun ramping, and the faster you can do it, the totality of your damage will just be greater. A lot of people underestimate the damage on your off stun rotations, which, you know, gets highlighted, you know, in particular with Yidhari, because Yidhari attacks a little bit slower, whereas Yishen, she's just like, you're just outpouring fucking damage, but you got to make sure that, hey, you can still maintain a lot of your damage potential even without that damage stun multiplier. So that's something that, you know, a lot of people, even me, I'm starting to do, set up a lot of pre-attacks before we even start the battle. So for an example, it would be Yidhari charging her charge basic right before you actually enter into the battle and use Lucia's attacks. And this is an example for those who start with Yidhari, right? Here we are. Let's take a look. Yidhari. What you're gonna do is you're gonna charge up, swap to Lucia, and triple attack along this hexagonal line right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, charge, 2. Boom. We shaved off like 1.5 seconds of ramp. And that is the exact time that you can fit in that Yishen EX special. That's the time you can fit in the Yidhari double charge into the crushing shit, whatever, and the rest of that attack. Her names are so freaking long, so God forbid. But yes, you can fit in so many attacks, you know, during the, what is it? The setup of the boss.
Cycle of yin and yang. Scatter.
Okay, not bad. We could definitely utilize, you know, all of... There was 3 yellows that we missed there. A little bit tough, right? Because sure, you want to flow through Yishen's kit, but not only that, you want to make sure that you maintain those hunter stacks. I don't know what they're called. I'll just call them hunter stacks. The hunter stacks will allow you to get more sheer force damage. 6 stacks total. So the faster you do that, well, the faster you do more damage, right? And the faster you'll actually get to the days. You should have been at 60 points of days here. And because we're already halfway to setting up with Yishen, we're already good. We're at like 60 and we're already halfway to setting up for that tech ult. Okay, that's fine. Using Jufu here, that's fine because you can get another EX. That's perfectly good. Was that a double EX from Lucia? Yeah, because I have so much ER. But you see how that's a waste, right? You just used the EX special and wasted the whole meter. Whereas when you could have dodged or something, gained a little bit more days, used up the meter, and conserved a little bit more power. Because remember, dodge counters also count for hunter stacks as well. Defensive assist and dodge counters count for the 6 stacks. You need 6 stacks going into the stun window. And that was like 2 or 3 that we missed. Potentially, that could wane out as we go halfway through into the stun window.
Obliterate form and spirit.
Good.
It's almost time.
Technically, you don't need to wait there. For Jufufu and Yishen, you don't need to wait. It's okay to wait. Just don't need to wait.
Yin and yang. Evil shall return to dust.
Okay. Good. There goes Jufufu, right? So the reason why we use the EX on Jufufu right before the stun window is to gain the max amount of might and to gain a few extra momentum stacks. Now we have exhausted all of Jufufu stuff when we actually should have had more.
Yin and yang. Evil.
That's okay though. We held that too long. That's like literally 20 energy. You had the gold, you had the rainbow. You just need to pop it because that costed you an extra cloud shaper.
Obliterate form and spirit. It's
The start of this was good, but you spent too much time
decree.
because you didn't save the resources earlier. Because if you had like more than 80 adrenaline, you're fine, right?
Evil shall return to dust.
So we're doing good here. The line's good. And then we have to like immediately like pop, right? That's not exactly what we want to do. Also, you have M2, right? Oh, it's M1, not M2. My bad. I forbore. Never mind. We continue. Big lesson here. Pop quiz chat. When does Hunter and most miasma bosses turn miasma? When do they start activating their miasma phase? Or Yuri. There you go. Ken, good. It is 2 minutes. I'm talking about default time. Like if you don't do anything, it'll default to 2 minutes. Higher end meta comps will end their first stun phase between 2:15 and 2:05. What you should have done instead of using Jufufu's ult here is actually use Yidhari's ult. And secondly, you should have waited and allowed yourself to at least parry one of its attacks before jumping around to like 2:03 because you started this at what? Okay, so 2:13, 2:12, good, blah, 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 good, right? 2:08, 2:09. Then we pop the ult at 2:08. That's 4 to 5 seconds where you could have allowed him to attack you, gain hunter stacks, and then immediately pop ult to activate the miasma phase.
Faithful companions, heed my call. Wanna play a game? Allow me. Breathe.
We're at 2 minutes. We should have had him activate miasma phase already. All right, now he's starting to activate miasma phase. So it's a 3-second time difference, but 3 seconds here, 2 seconds here. It all adds up to a last minute stun window, right? Granted, you get the kill here, but we're talking about good practices and we're talking about proper gameplay. We want to start to actively implement these things into our gameplay, right? So here, good. Nah, who do we want parrying here? Who do we want parrying here, right? Not the character who already has 28. You're fine, you're good. We're good here. Ah, that's a yellow we need to take advantage of. Every yellow. It's not just the parry for the miasma. It's the hunter stacks. Ooh, a lot of damage left off of the second stun window here. A lot of damage. We're looking okay here though. 99. See? Yeah. That is like yeah, that is a lot. The hunter stacks, I don't know what they're called. They're called the wavering stacks. These wavering stacks can stack up to 5 times, lasting for 15 seconds. Each of these stacks will apply a sheer force damage bonus of 7%. So you missed 3 there. That's 20% sheer damage bonus that I saw just straight up right there. And then again, we weren't able to apply it to the stun window, but remember we missed on that yellow earlier on in that window where I was talking about the miasma window. Right. Yeah, right here. Right here when we start to activate it and pop the ults. This second stun window, very, very crucial that not too many people will think to apply all these stacks and all these buffs for, because they're like, oh, I just got out of the miasma phase. Let me just dump everything and then I'll set up for the third phase. No, the second phase is just as important and you can do so much damage. Here we go. Ults, pop, good. Quick chain prompt. Juju Fufu, boom, good. Yishen. Good.
Your life ends here.
Reapplication is okay. I'm not mad about it.
Don't let your guard.
Okay, that's good. Solid. That's a parry there, but that's fine. Yellow, good. There you go. There's that urgency. Good. That's a red. That's an easy Yishen parry right there. Here's where it gets economical. Look at your Yishen here. She has no adrenaline resources. She has 0. My fat face is blocking it. She has 0 adrenaline resources. Instead, be economical. Only use EX1 and 2. Don't use EX3 because he attacks so fast. Just utilize the flow. It's like riding a wave, right? Like riding a surfboard on a wave. Let the attacks flow and ride that wave. Use your EX1, 2. You see a red, you see a yellow, go parry again, go dodge again. Go assist again. Because by doing all 3, we're losing out on the opportunity to give us more buffs and more damage. And again, now we're going into this stun window with barely a single EX Cloud Shaper.
Concentrate. Cycle of yin and yang.
That's good.
Yin and yang.
Okay.
Fall into the endless drawn from countless legends, melodies, and dreams. The weak spot is here.
Good. Then that's your 1 big EX attack, and then you go into the dash. That's fine. Good. I'll take that. Good. Oh, okay. It's fine. In that instance, he was gonna chain 2 more yellows. That's a heads up play where you gotta recognize, oh, which attack rotation he's in. He's in the triple yellow. He can either go into the quadruple yellow or he can go into the triple yellow with the red. More than likely that was the triple yellow with the red. Yeah, I press alt before I realized it. Yeah, that's fine. Because you see 30 seconds and you're feeding for the kill, right? You're at 57 and the psychology is let's get as fast to that stun window so we could push it. But if we take that time to methodically pick and choose our spots to where we put on the pedal or where we take it off, right? We can gain so much time back. It's like a metaphor of like an F1 race. You're not always pressing the gas. You're not pressing the brake either. You're easing up on the gas and then boom on the gas. Ease up on the gas. Boom on the gas, right? So you got to find those moments where you got to ease up on that gas. Good. You're lucky he didn't go into the fucking missile shooter thing. Oh! Ah! Right there. Right there. That's our last one. You get the kill, right? But we're starting to recognize these patterns, right? You're like, man, I'm missing those pairs. I'm missing the hunter stacks. Ooh, right. These are really, really good opportunities because the RNG on that, having double yellows in a stun window, that's great RNG. Everybody hopes for that RNG, right? But it's okay. It's okay. We get to the stun window. We're looking good here. Boom, we pop it. A little less in resources, but you know that's not the worst thing in the world. We'll still have one EX to blow. We're at 63 already. Boom. Good.
Evil shall return to dust.
Boom. There it is. Great stuff. Great stuff still. Like, this is a clear example of you generally understanding how to play the rotation. You know how to quick chain prompt. You know how to manage the Jufu stacks, and you built Lucia just well enough so that you can have enough energy regen resources, or resources to do energy regen. But we did not necessarily play the stage as well as we could have. But hopefully, for other people who don't necessarily have the potency that Kin has for their account, let's say you have M0s and budget Wenjins, you guys are going to get less of a score per that same run. But if you were to implement those strategies, your damage will be net higher. Hopefully you guys learned a lot from that VOD review, but there's a lot of stuff when it comes to combat that you guys can pay attention to, not only just with your characters, but how you apply them to the stage and what the stage actually will feed back to you. That's where the sauce is. That's where that secret sauce is. That's why this is, you know, the action RPG. But overall, great run. You know, if I were to give it a grade, I give it a B+. You still do the run and execute very, very well. But within those margins, hey, there is a lot to improve on as far as learning the stage itself. That is our first VOD review. If you guys would like for me to do more VOD reviews, hey, come check out the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Jshoea, and do more of these VOD reviews and more of these generalist account review runs for you guys to help you guys improve your runs, your DAs, your accounts, etc. Yeah.